Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo 7 to try and help you earn 2 million credits as quickly and as easily as possible. So for this week's time trial, we are at Autopolis and we are in the Group 4 category of car. You can drive any car that you want within the Group 4. I personally would pick the Supra. I think it's got one of the best handling traits for this track. It rotates really nice, so I think you'll enjoy driving this. Now, if you do enjoy this video, do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know in the comment section if we've managed to help you out. If we've got you as silver or gold, it all helps the channel grow, and we're currently pushing for that 75,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Let's see if we can smash it. So yeah, let's get into this time trial and show you how you enter it. So simply go into the main menu and into sport mode in the top right hand corner. From there, you'll be greeted with the online time trial section. Click on that and you'll have two separate time trials. We already have a guide for the Monza one, so if you want to check that out on the channel, simply check that out in the 2 million credit playlist. But we're going to go into Autopolis, and you can see I've managed to get myself to P1 in the world. Now it is not going to stay there because there's over half a second to come off that, and I think even I could go at least 2-3 attempts quicker. So someone faster is going to get well into the low, probably low 52. So my predicted gold is a 55.5, a 1 minute 55.5. So bear that in mind for your silver target as well. So if you want to load my Ghost, because we got P1 in the world, it's in that top 10 leaderboard, so you can simply load my Ghost up from that session there and chase it down and, you know, see how close you can get to it after watching this guide. So let's get this lap started and try and help you earn these credits as quickly and as easily as possible. Now, first thing is try and get a better exit than what I did there at the start of the lap, because I got a bit of a scruffy exit, probably lost half a temp just going down to the main first braking zone. But yeah, it doesn't matter too much. So into the first braking zone, we're going to brake past 100 board. So I use 100 as a reference, but we're actually going to brake around about the orange barrier there. You can use both of them as a reference, and you can see the braking input going in just there, pretty much dead level with the orange barrier. Now, braking a straight line and then turning quite early, you can't actually see the apex of the corner, but you just got to get this early into the corner and then trail brake it in. Right hand tire needs to try and clip that curb. Now, onto the throttle as early as you can. You can see I'm already on the throttle there. And just be cautious though, because I actually hit that curb a little bit aggressively, and you can see the rear gets a little bit loose. Had to correct it on the exit there and lost about a 1/10 of a second there, because I think I go through this first sector on a 0.8 something, whereas I've been doing 0.7s on previous laps. So yeah, over a 1/10 off my optimal through there. Now into the next braking zone, we're going to brake past this grey bit of tarmac, but use it as a reference, braking a little bit later than that, and hold 4th gear. So down to 4th gear as you're approaching this right hand corner, and then quite a late downshift to 3rd to get that little bit of rotation in. Now you can carry quite a lot of speed through this corner. You can see here, be aggressive, use the curb on the right there. You can see right hand tire up onto the curb, help with rotation, and then just be patient on the throttle and the accelerator as we go through here. You can see on the throttle aggressively and then lifting quite early here. You can see you want to get this car rotated in. So narrow into this apex, off the throttle, tiny dab of brakes, not too much, just a little bit of braking input going in. Now just be cautious on the throttle through. You can see I'm playing with that throttle all the way through the corner as we skim this white line. Aim for your left hand tire to just run along that white line through that corner, and then as soon as your car is straightened up, you're onto the brakes. You can see as soon as we're in a straight line, straight away onto the brakes, and you're aiming to keep this quite narrow to this apex. You do not want to run deep into the corner. Narrow to the apex, down to 2nd gear, and I stay in 2nd gear. I don't go to 1st gear, just stay in 2nd gear. Keeps it a little bit smoother for me, and then just gently feed that throttle in as you accelerate out of the corner. Now we're going to work our way into this really fast left-hand corner. This is a very important corner on the lap. So just as you hit the start of the curb, you're going to chuck this car in. So you can see, start the curb, chucking the car in, staying in 4th gear here, and then just a tiny little dab of braking input as we go through this corner, because we're aiming to get where that yellow arrow was. You want to get this car up close to this curb all the way through the corner, and then you can see we can start putting that throttle in a little bit early if we manage to get that car onto the curb. So completely flat on the exit there. Just be careful you don't run wide and lose a bit of speed by going up on the grass. And then we're looking for our next braking reference, which we're going to use the left-hand arrow there before the 50 board. Now you can actually brake slightly past that again, so be a little bit aggressive, go a little bit past it, because you want to get this car rotated and getting accelerating on the downhill. So if you brake a little bit past it, you can then downshift a 2nd, and you won't hit this curb on the left. You don't want to hit the curb as you're turning in, because if you're too narrow to this curb, you'll find that you can't get on the throttle as early. So you can see just slightly miss that apex, and then enables you to get on the throttle perfectly and carry quite a lot of speed on this exit here. So onto the throttle, up into third gear, and now carrying the speed all the way on this downhill section. So we're going to be braking again before the 50 board on our left hand side here, so you can see pretty much in the middle of the 100 and the 50 board, a little bit closer to the 50 board. And again, this is all about carrying the speed in fourth gear, so a little bit of braking input going in, trail brake your way into this corner, so you're going to see that trail braking going in. And then as soon as you're up to this curb here, you're going to see as soon as your tyres are onto the curb, you're going to start looking at putting some throttle inputs in. So onto the curb and then throttle inputs. And just be careful you don't run wide here. Just be very, very cautious there. And again now, as soon as you're off this curb, you're going to start rotating into this fast right-hand corner. Now, a little downshift to third gear is actually quite beneficial for this corner. So you're going to see a little dab of the brakes just to get a bit of rotation in there. And then I go to third gear, then back up to fourth gear. So just third gear for rotation, that's all. Then back up to fourth, putting that power down. And now you can see we've got a really nice line through this corner where we can start attacking the next curb on the left. Now, as we approach this curb, you're going to see we're going to put a tiny little amount of braking input in there just to start getting the rotation again and putting the weight onto the front tyres. And again, onto the throttle. Be careful on this throttle all the way through here. Just don't be too aggressive. And then just before we're coming into this corner, we're going to get onto the brakes. And again, it's not too aggressive on the brakes. You can see only 50% braking, trail braking to about 20, and then off the brakes. And then at this point, you want the car to be almost in the middle of the track. You don't want to be too far left, and you don't want to be too far to the right. You want it nicely in the middle, back up to third gear, and then just feather the throttle all the way through here. Be careful you don't put 100% in all the way through because it will snap. So you can see as we hit the curb, little lift off the throttle again, just to help it be a bit smoother. And then a dab of the brakes as we come into this bridge in front of us, just to help with the rotation again. And again, we're coasting a little bit, playing with that throttle, just being cautious not to put too much throttle down because this car does go a little bit loose. If you're overly aggressive, it'll start sliding quite easily. Now into the next right-hand corner, the final right-hand corner, one of the most important corners on the track to get right because it gives you a good exit. Braking just before the curb on the right-hand side. Now, as we're going through here, you can see get a little bit too aggressive on the throttle. You want to be very patient with this throttle free. You can see I'm starting to understeer a bit. I've gone a bit too early on that throttle, and that's going to compromise my exit. So maybe losing out on half a tenth to a tenth on the exit there. You can see the ghost in front of us pulling away. That's my ghost that we're chasing. And yeah, we managed to still go over the line on a 52.9. So there's definitely, for me, probably a 52.5 or 6 in that lap. And for faster drivers, I predict they're going to get very low down into the 52s. So it'll be interesting where that ends up. Probably a very low 52, I reckon, by the end of the week. So make sure you push your time to probably a 55.5 at least, I would say. So watching the lap again from the chase camera, you can see how the rear goes a little bit loose there, and we lose a fraction of a time there, and that's where a 10th goes with the sector coming up as a 0.8. But now into this next right hand corner, I actually carried quite decent speed through this right hand corner, using that third gear for the rotation, hit the curb really nicely, and then swinging it back into this left hand corner. And just be very patient. Like I say, patience on the throttle is so important through this section. Smooth inputs, don't be too erratic with the steering inputs, because the smoother you are, the more gentle you get out these corners with the throttle, the better the traction is. And yeah, it's all about smoothness through this track. It is one of them tracks, if you try and chase the lap time and overdrive it, you'll just lose it. You're better to be smooth and very, very gentle with them inputs. So into this next left-hand corner, this you can be quite aggressive with the downshifting, but again, you can see not too close to the curb. Deliberately missing that apex, because if you get on the curb, it just unsettles the car, and it just gives us a smoother exit then, going a little bit higher. And then into this next right hand corner, you can see using that fourth gear, rotating it in, then back onto the throttle just as you come off that curb. Be careful on the exit that you don't run too far wide. That third gear shift is vital. I tried it without doing the third gear shift for rotation there, and it just understeers a bit. Third gear just rotates it in nicely, and it sets you up all the way through this section to keep this car where you want it through this section here. Very, very tricky section. You can see the rear going slightly loose all the way through this section as you're driving it. Even through here, the car's on the verge of losing grip, and then into this final right corner. This is where the understeer kicks in. Too aggressive on the throttle. You can see it went too aggressive too early, and you can see how I compromised it there with the exit hitting the curb a bit too aggressive. But still a pretty solid lap, a 1 minute 52.9. Pretty happy with that. Hopefully it'll help you get the gold. Let me know in the comment section if it has. I'll see you for these every single week. Take care, everyone.